And no, it's not about politics, greed, capitalism, or any of that stuff. In fact, all of those are simply long-term manifestations In fact, all of those are simply long-term manifestations of the real problem, which lies on a deeper, much more personal level. The true problem actually lies in our old way of thinking, creating tension on every level. Right now, as you're watching this video, all of us are going through something of a shift. We are changing into a completely new state of being with a new way of thinking and a different understanding of our multiphasic holographic reality. Today, we're going to break down the concept of chakras like you've never seen it before. A deluxe special remake that unifies all of our original episodes into something even greater.
Cool with me.
If you've been around this channel long enough, or have seen like any meditation or spiritual based movie of the last 10 years, you'll probably know that one of the most central and core themes of many New Age disciplines is the 7 chakra system. Whether you've used them as meditation aids or seen them in gift shops, you're probably at least somewhat familiar with the idea. If not, keep watching, or, just watch Doctor Strange and see how it turned out for him. When getting started with the New Age concept of chakras, first we have to understand the basics of light and color. If you take white light and shine it through a prism, the light will break into a spectrum of 7 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Aw yeah, Roy G. Biv. You can do this at home with your own prism, or maybe you tried it in science class at school. We familiarly recognize this as the spectrum of the rainbow, or even more familiar, the basic palette in Photoshop. Scientifically though, this whole prism effect and all of the colors it produces are generally called Newtonian colors, and for the most part are the foundation of the visible color spectrum. Now, of course, there are way more than just 7 colors, especially when you get into different wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum and perhaps even different dimensions. But let's stick with these for now. The thing about color is that each one actually has its own vibration. Red has the longest wavelength and the slowest vibrational frequency, and today we generally recognize it as warm and stimulating. Violet has the shortest wavelength and the fastest frequency, and we recognize it as cool and calming. I don't think I have to describe what happens between these 2 colors. It's like a frequency change that gets shorter and faster as you move up the spectrum. This basic knowledge, believe it or not, is very important, but we're gonna have to look at some other things first. So, what is a chakra? Well, it's usually believed that the word chakra comes from the Sanskrit word meaning wheel, which is partly true, but not the whole story, and we'll get to that later on.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, or whatever it is, whatever site you on, do whatever it is to like this video. If you are joining or don't like it yet until you get to a part you like, then make sure you go back and you like it. Alright, let me get my boxes set up for y'all real quick. Hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, I ain't get a chance to set up my boxes. Talk about me later. But it'll be in there in a couple seconds. There you go. There we go. Now, today is Tech Tuesday. Happy holidays to y'all too as well. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrates. And I know everybody celebrate because y'all be eating. So, let me see. It's revolutionary tech. We just gonna look at revolutionary tech of our time. You know this is always a fun episode. So, let's look at tech of the 2000s real quick. Now, as usual, I can't just play anybody anything. So we're gonna go to our filters. But 13 seconds. Let's see what they do. Bang, they bang.
Hey guys, what's going on? And today we're going to be talking about kind of like, I don't really know how to say this, kind of like old sort of stuff, like old technology stuff, like not softwares, but like websites, kind of like MySpace and stuff like that. So first, we'll start off with like sort of the social media side, and then we'll go into like emailing when that was a thing. I don't. Well, I mean, older people use that now, but most younger people, like through the 20s or 30s, still use like social medias, and like older than that, basically use email and stuff. And then we're going to go into like video watching, like Twitch and YouTube. So first, we'll start off with MySpace. MySpace, I don't know anybody that uses this anymore, and this was created August 1st, 2003. So
you know why I don't like his video? Because I don't want to see all that shooting in the background.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's
lazy, entitled, stupid, selfish, dumb, crazy, lost, ignorant, spoiled, bad, sensitive, snowflake, annoying, fucked, and on and on and on.
That's how Millennial and Gen Zers say they're routinely described, according to SUNY psychologist Carla Vermeulen, author of the new book, Generation Disaster, Coming of Age Post 9/11. Who can blame them for being pissed off?
One of the quotes that I used was someone saying, I feel like our generation has been handed a bill for a party we didn't get to attend.
Right.
So this is really one of the main sources of anger at older generations, at boomers in particular.
They're routinely described, according to SUNY psychologist Carla Vermeulen, author of the new book, Generation Disaster, Coming of Age Post 9/11. Who can blame them for being pissed off?
One of the quotes that I used was someone saying, I feel like our generation has been handed a bill for a party we didn't get to attend. So this is really one of the main sources of anger at older generations, at boomers in particular.
Younger Americans have been raised to believe that their leaders lie about everything, that the entire financial system existed to bail out big banks when they crashed the economy, that endless war is the natural state of things, and that they were about to be blown up by terrorists or shot during school at any moment.
I have a chapter in the book called Lockdown Drills in Kindergarten. They literally have had these drills the same way that we had fire drills.
Vermeulen's book looks specifically at people born between 1990 and 2001, but her conclusions are broadly relevant to folks under 40 or so. She says their fears are mostly overhyped. Our focus on statistically rare events such as school shootings have jacked depression, anxiety, and resentment through the roof.
The psychological effect of participating in these drills for young kids, and kids writing wills to their parents and thinking they're literally going to die, and it's security theater. The disproportionate attention and resources that go towards preventing these highly unlikely events relative to the more direct mental health stressors kids are actually dealing with.
But the biggest driver of generation disaster, stress, and anger, says Vermeulen, are narratives about how climate change is about to destroy the planet in the very near future.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
Whether or not you think that is exaggerated, this is the messaging that they've been receiving. And this is definitely the biggest source of anxiety for them. Like, I would say school shootings are kind of the most acute stressor for them, but their worries about climate change and the future of the planet is truly existential for them. They talk about not thinking that they won't be able to have children, or they don't want to have children because they don't want to leave them this planet that they've inherited. I think that what makes it so hard for them to deal with is they feel like there's so little they can do about it.
Baby boomers who hated their own parents and used to shout slogans like "don't trust anyone over 30" should be able to empathize with how millennials and Gen Zers are feeling. We need to find ways of talking more productively across generations. Vermeulen says that the essential starting point is respect.
To the parents, I guess I would say really listen to them. A lot of them are delightful, they are creative, they are thoughtful, they are far more sophisticated than I was at their age because they've had all of this access to all of these resources, everything that they now have literally in their hand at their fingertips, and take their concerns seriously because they are valid in many ways.
I'll add to that, we need to have more fact-based discussions that take into account vast amounts of huge social, economic, and environmental progress that we either take for granted or politicians and the press ignore because it doesn't fit their agenda. Extreme poverty has been cut from 94% to 10% over the past 2 centuries. Education and literacy have skyrocketed.
These are
Racism,
important,
sexism,
y'all.
homophobia have all declined.
Don't think these stats
Global
ain't
life
important.
expectancy continues to increase, and democracy is on the rise. The 2018 UN climate report that supposedly claimed that the world is going to end in 12 years actually says nothing of the sort. Policy analysts such as Scott Winship note that 70% of American 30-year-olds are doing better than their parents were at the same age.
For generation disaster, why are their parents or their grandparents having these negative reactions? Because you don't understand them any more than they understand you, but you could probably try that.
Every generation fights for its place in the world, and there's no question that the same boomers who once sang along to Bob Dylan's "The Times They Are a-Changin'" are incredibly slow to exit the stage and give anyone else a turn in the spotlight. There's no question that millennials and Gen Z are facing unique problems that they didn't cause, but that's also been true of every other generation.
We've just lost the ability to talk to each other and to listen to views, not lost entirely, but it is challenging. Listen to views that are in conflict with our own and try to understand why people have these perspectives.
The best way forward is to treat one another with mutual respect, regardless of age.
But let's try and do that perspective taking from both sides.
That was a great opening to our talk today. So let's look at some boomer tech. Boomer technology. Let's see what y'all had going on back then.
What did boomer office workers do before cell phones and computers? This guy on Twitter wants to know. It's basically just asking what they would do, and it's just a desk and a telephone. And the lack of understanding contributes to a little bit of animosity between generations. TriNet wrote about the importance of understanding how different generations fit into the workforce, because obviously younger generations are indeed the tech-savvy ones, because millennials, Gen Zers, and younger Gen Xers grew up with technology, while boomers were more focused on traditional perks. Whatever that means. I guess like filing cabinets. Older generations saw real estate trends post as an opportunity to inform younger generations. They spoke of building relationships in person rather than over text and email, with the days spent on the phone, typing memos on typewriters, and carrying around planners with contacts and calendars. Being able to take your work anywhere is a hallmark of millennial and Gen Z culture, and technology has its benefits with many being able to work from home. But work no longer turns off when you step away from the computer because texts and emails don't always respect working hours. So back in the day, work stayed at work. Maybe we should bring that part back. What did boomer office workers do before cell phones and computers? This guy.
See what else they got
When you
on the
think of
shorts.
Charlotte, like a lot of people say, it's a good soul food out here because it's the South.
What did boomer office workers?
Let's see the shorts. Let's see what they got on the shorts. And hold on. How to sell the baby boomers. Old school. Oh, I like this.
If you're given a chance to choose a doctor of a certain age or generation, what will be your preference? As the years go by, everything changes. Technology, politics, language, and even the social scene. What's cool and relevant now could be outdated only a few years later. But these changes are largely influenced by the people of the time period. Each generation has different life experiences, beliefs, values, and goals, and each one thinks and reacts differently based on these personal experiences and ideologies. The field of medicine is no exception. Although the fundamentals or the science of medicine does not drastically change, many other aspects do, such as the standard protocols, the delivery of medicine, the healthcare system as a whole, and of course, the people within it. Some patients may choose an older doctor who is more experienced and trusted, while others may choose someone who is younger and who may be more proficient with technology or is more attuned with current social preferences. As a disclaimer though, this video is not meant to analyze who is better, but rather it's meant to review different practice patterns and generational characteristics. All providers have different strengths and weaknesses and provide their own unique skills and insight. So let's first define these generations and how they are different from one another. And let's also look at how the trends are changing. So this is a depiction of different generations in 2019. Today, in 2024, baby boomers are currently in their 60s to late 70s, Gen X in their 40s to early 60s, millennials in their late 20s and early 40s, and Gen Z in their teens to 20s. Now, I want to emphasize millennials, not because I am one, but because of the changing demographic trends. Millennials surpassed baby boomers as the largest population in 2016. They are now the largest living generation of millennials, and Gen Z in their 40s to early 60s. Millennials currently in their different generations in 2019. Today, in 2024, baby boomers are currently in their 60s to late 70s, Gen X in their 40s to early 60s, millennials in their late 20s and early 40s, and Gen Z in their teens to 20s. Now, I want to emphasize millennials, not because I am one, but because of the changing demographic trends. Millennials are not because of Gen Z in their teens to 20s.
Okay, got it.
Now, I want to emphasize millennials, not because I am one, but because of the changing demographic trends. Millennials surpassed baby boomers as the largest population in 2016. They are now the largest living generation of 75 million people, with 1 of 3 adults in the US being a millennial. This generation now represents 35% of the total US labor force, and they will make up as much as 75% of the US workforce by 2025. This trend also applies in healthcare. In 2020, there were more physicians aged 40 or under than any other decade. And I'm not going to discuss Gen Z as much in this video because the majority of people in this age range have not completed the medical education, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So how are these generations different from each other? In essence, a generation is a peer group defined by both its demographics and its key life events. Baby boomers experienced significant life events such as the Vietnam War, the Cold War, post-Great Depression. Gen X experienced the fall of the Berlin Wall, the computer revolution, and the AIDS epidemic. Millennials had to deal with 9/11, the war in Iraq, and then they had the internet revolution. Gen Z had the Great Recession and the first black president. I'm generalizing this, but it seems there has been a greater change in the dynamics of our society when Gen X eventually passed the baton to the millennial generation. The emphasis on more individualistic qualities was instead placed more on collaborative or community-based values. This could be attributed to the fact that millennials faced economic hardship from a very young age. The cost of college and higher education contributed to significant debt. Millennials entered the workplace while unemployment rates were at an all-time high. Also, generally speaking, millennials have been a very highly protected generation. They were raised by parents who told them that they were special and winners for no other reason than that they are who they are. Millennials emphasize core values such as teamwork, close relationships with authority figures, which makes sense since they have close relationships with their parents, who literally are the authority as we age. The generational change in values is also demonstrated in this chart. Millennials and Gen Z are more similar with respect to learning style, decision-making, and need than the former generations. For example, with respect to decision-making, baby boomers had the rationale of team-informed, but it's ultimately my decision. Gen X went from team-included, and it's our decision, to now millennials and Gen Z believing it's team-decided, and what we all agree to. There are also generation differences in their approach to work and employment. With respect to work, baby boomers lived to work and were process-oriented. Gen X saw work as a way to live, and they were results-driven. Millennials, on the other hand, are multitaskers and are also results-driven. They're committed to an idea, a cause, or a product, while the older generations are more committed to individual people or the business or company. Every generation criticizes each other. They compare personal experiences to that of others, and they may perceive things differently. In this list, these are some common traditional views that millennials do not necessarily agree with. They may be out of context or portrayed as black and white when things are actually gray. Traditional views of millennials see them as lazy, but in the counter perspective, it's not laziness, but instead they are actually redefining productivity. Millennials don't see work as an equation. More time does not mean more productivity.
Right.
And working less hours does not mean work is not being well done. Something they are entitled, but rather it just may be because they have an entrepreneurial spirit. Millennials are driven by their desire to make the most of their potential and apply different talents and skills. Interestingly, they have become the most accomplished generation to date, but of course with the involvement of their parents. They have more accomplishments on their high school and college resumes than previous generations. Obviously, this can change with the newer generations, but there's not enough data yet to comprehensively evaluate this. And as mentioned before, millennials have close relationships with authority. They believe in relationships without the hierarchy of authority, which can be perceived as disrespect. Hypothetically, a traditional view might be, I shouldn't have to prove myself to a younger person. In fact, I shouldn't be challenged at all. A millennial might respond, everyone has something to teach someone else. We all should be respected and feel comfortable bringing diverse thoughts and ideas to the table. There are some things you shouldn't do. There's a hierarchy or chain of command, and that should be respected. Instead, a millennial might think a real leader should recognize the source of the challenge doesn't matter, young, old, male, or female. Now sure, this is interesting to compare, but how is it relevant in the clinical setting? It's possible that age might, in fact, matter when it comes to patient outcomes. In one study, researchers found that the mortality rates were higher for older physicians than for younger ones at the same hospitals. And in a different study, it was shown that mortality rates increased by 0.5% for every year since the attending physician had graduated from medical school. However, with regards to the former, the difference in rates went away with older doctors who had higher patient loads. Busy doctors don't seem to lose their edge over time, but semi-retired doctors may not be able to keep up with their skill sets as they get older. But mortality is only one metric. In an older systematic review, the authors found that the younger doctors tend to deliver a high quality of care on average compared to older doctors. Of 62 studies, more than half showed evidence that physician care quality and patient outcomes actually deteriorates with age. However, there's more to medicine than just research metrics. There's also an art to medicine. Older doctors often have knowledge, skills, and insight crucial for diagnosing and treating complex conditions. Their wisdom instills confidence and trust in patients. Experienced doctors can navigate challenging cases, especially for patients with chronic illnesses or complex medical histories. More experienced doctors may have better people skills. This means that they may be more effective at patient counseling, identifying underlying mental health issues, or diagnosing more subtle and undisclosed problems. Since younger physicians may not have developed this art form, they may try to compensate with other measures. As I mentioned before, millennials are driven by their desire to make the most of their potential and to apply different skills and talents. They may be more familiar with the latest research, diagnostic tools, and treatments. They are more likely to use advanced technologies for communication, record keeping, and accessing medical information. And they might be more likely to adhere to current, up-to-date standard of care guidelines and procedures. So in essence, each generation has its own weaknesses and strengths. But to be a good doctor, you have to be well-rounded.
Now let's look at I probably spelled that all wrong. Alright. Let's watch some of these.
There are well over 17 million taxi drivers worldwide, but self-driving vehicles are becoming more popular. Have you wondered what will happen to those people when self-driving vehicles become common? Over 56,000 stores have closed in the United States and well over 670,000 net jobs lost since 2008 due to a rise in e-commerce. So, if you are a millennial, you need to be really vigilant on the next tech that is entering your industry so it doesn't knock you off. In the video linked in the description of this video, we cover the 3 biggest advancements in technology that can potentially cause the loss of jobs of thousands, if not millions of millennials. But most importantly, we cover how to protect yourself against that. Click the link in the description to find out.
How about we don't?
Who says no? There are well over 17 million.
Alright, let's see.
If you're sharing a hotel room with friends, you're also sharing a bathroom and a mirror.
To most workers in the US, the perks given to those who work in tech are astounding. $2,000 to spend on a vacation anywhere in the world, $2,500 per year for student loans, $4,000 in baby cash for new parents. That on top of lavish offices decked out with in-house massage parlors, gyms, and cafeterias serving free restaurant-quality food. During the pandemic, in-office perks were replaced by money to furnish home offices, mental health days, and the freedom to work from home forever. In an industry fraught with competition for the brightest minds, perks have become a way to not only attract, but also retain top talent.
The benefits and perks package alone, I would say probably was at least 40 or 50K.
This on top of salaries that are multiple times higher than those of other industries. In 2019, the average tech salary in the US was $146,000. That's almost 3 times the median salary of public school workers, who made up the largest industry of workers in the country in 2021. But even those swanky office spaces, 6-figure salaries, and unlimited time off are not enough to keep some millennials from leaving their tech jobs.
I expected kind of this perfect work environment, but it was ultimately still a big company with a lot of those same corporate problems that you get in a large company.
Hi there, can you hear me? CNBC spoke to several people who left their lucrative tech jobs to ask them one question: why? Free team building trips to Hawaii and private concerts aside, the tech industry can be stressful.
I'm curious, was there a moment for you when you started noticing that like some of the perks kind of start losing their luster?
A lot of these companies have unlimited paid time off, which sounds amazing, right? But what happens in practice is a lot of people take less than you would otherwise. They serve dinner every day, but they serve it really late. So if you want the dinner, you got to stay at the office, you know? So it's things like that where it's a good perk, right? But there's something about it that's like, it makes you work more.
Aaron Jack landed a coveted job at Uber as a software engineer in 2018, after going through an intensive coding boot camp in San Francisco.
I guess I never considered that you could even get into something like Uber or Google. I thought those were kind of like reserved for, you know, really elite individuals.
Jack says that Uber was the best job he ever had, but being a part of an industry that thrives on efficiency and innovation meant the pace could be unrelenting.
It started out really great because I was new, I was just learning everything, right? But the longer I actually stayed, the more, the responsibilities kept kind of increasing on me because I became a critical member of my team. I felt kind of stuck because you get motivated to finish and you're like, oh, I'm stressed to meet this deadline. But then you're almost on a treadmill where you like finish and then you just get a new project.
Anna Arsentieva worked as a software engineer before leaving in December of 2020.
I got my things there. I'm about to head out from the building. I've been here for the last 8 years. I'm about to set the alarm and leave for the day. And not for the day, but actually leave this time.
The company where she worked didn't offer the same perks as the big tech giants, but it did offer a good work-life balance. Still, she felt a similar type of pressure.
What led to the burnout? It was not the amount of hours I was putting in, but the fact that I will have a project, I will get everything I can to make it successful. As soon as that project ends, immediately a new one starts.
Jack and Arsentieva are not alone. A 2018 survey by Blind, an anonymous workplace chat app, found that over 50% of the close to 11,500 tech workers surveyed answered yes when asked if they currently suffered from job burnout. Compare that to a 2019 survey of 15,000 physicians, only 42% of who said that they felt burnt out. And the pandemic only seems to have made things worse.
So many of my clients found themselves working all the time, rolling out of bed in the morning, working, thinking, well, I have nowhere to go this evening, so I might as well just keep working. Waking up on a Saturday, I have nothing to do. Well, I might as well just keep going. There is this understanding of you're being paid well, there's all these perks, there's, stock options, we're giving you a lot, and in exchange, we're really requiring you to work those extra hours.
A 2020 survey by Blind showed that 68% of tech workers felt more burnt out while working from home than while working from the office. The survey included over 3,000 employees working at companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, and Google. Beyond the day-to-day pressure, some said stagnation played a role in their decision to leave their tech jobs.
I was looking at the trajectory of the job over time, and I didn't really see the growth opportunities I wanted.
In fact, a 2020 survey of more than 4,000 tech workers found that, following salary, the opportunity to learn new skills was the second largest motivator to accept a new job offer. The same survey found that 58% of tech workers would leave their current job for another one if presented new challenges and problems to solve. Jack imagined his life 10 years into the future.
You're still in the same office, have the same desk, have the same chair, same commute. So the details change, but your life is kind of the same.
Arsentieva agrees that the desire to keep learning and growing played a part in her decision to leave.
In 2019, at the end of the year, I was talking with my manager that I want to do something else. I want to learn something else. And it just happened that my interests were not aligned with the interests or the needs that the company had at the time.
Arsentieva persevered out of a sense of loyalty. Her company had hired her with almost no experience after she immigrated to the US from Europe. But she volunteered to leave when the company downsized due to the pandemic and spent the next 6 months studying web development. Claire Shapiro joined Google straight out of college and quickly began pulling in a 6-figure salary. But after years in a number of different roles, she felt stuck in the tech bubble.
I heard from so many other people that had other diverse experiences outside of Google, that you can't really fully appreciate Google or you can't really understand without having this kind of other context. It did feel like, well, wow, if I don't leave now, I could stay here for the rest of my life.
In 2018, Shapiro took a 50% pay cut and moved to Belgium for a new position as a design consultant for the Board of Innovation.
I thought, I think the work that I am doing is not energizing me to the fullest, and I think I could probably find that potentially outside of Google. And I did.
LinkedIn is the place to be. Start advertising on the highest returning paid social platform.
Hey guys!
Sorry,
Today we're
y'all,
going to learn how to add this scrolling animation to your website.
Industry is built on entrepreneurs, so it's no surprise that many of those who leave their tech jobs do so to start their own endeavors. That was the case with Morgan DeBon.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur full time. I wanted to move fast and not get too attached to having, a nice 6-figure income at such a young age.
Like Shapiro, DeBon started working at
6-figure. I wanted
the case with Morgan DeBon.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur full time. I wanted to move fast and not get too attached to having, a nice 6-figure income at such a young age.
Like Shapiro, DeBon started working at Intuit right after college and quickly moved through the ranks. But working as a product manager, she noticed a blind spot in the products that she was helping to develop.
When we're looking at target users as a product manager, which was my first role, you create these user personas, right? And so you describe the person, you describe the target person, what do they look like, what do they eat, where do they shop, what problems are they solving, what technology do they use, because you really want to have empathy for the customer. And at the time, it felt like every customer's identity was all the same.
All the same, right.
These white people, middle class, and I'm like, wait, hold on. This can't be good, and there's clearly a disconnect here.
DeBon says that she liked her job, but felt that she could make a bigger impact by founding her own company.
I don't think that there's any tech company that's ever going to put the Black audience and the Black community and I don't think that there's any tech company that's ever going to put the Black audience and the Black community and the Black customer base as their core demographic that they're solving for.
In 2014, she launched Blavity, a media company geared towards Black millennials. Is there anything that tech could have done to keep you specifically in tech?
I don't know that there's anything that could have kept me in working at a big tech company. As a young Black woman, I didn't want to fight so many fights for the rest of my life. I think that I've made a lot more progress outside of a corporate entity and been able to push a lot more tech companies to be more diverse and empowered Black people to be in the technology industry and be more equipped to be able to influence these product decisions.
Right.
Definitely more than I could have been as being a group director or a VP at one of these tech companies.
Jack and Shapiro have also struck out on their own.
I actually spent the better part of 6 months developing my own kind of better coding bootcamp, Freemote, the freelance developer bootcamp, that solved a lot of the problems of the bootcamp I went to.
Although Shapiro still works on some projects with the Board of Innovation, she has also found her calling as a freelance product and business design consultant.
Right now I'm making less than I made at Google, but that's partially by design. I really am prioritizing not as much the salary side and more of the work-life balance and having experience side of it.
In an industry as competitive as tech, top talent is crucial, and those who leave are doggedly pursued to return.
Google does an excellent job of maintaining connection with people that leave. I had a dedicated recruiter that I could call at any time that checked in with me once a year, asked me how my job was going, asked me what I was doing.
I get recruited still to come back into a big tech company, and I always just it makes me happy because I'm like, yes, keep trying to get me back into the system, but I'm busy.
If you didn't have this grand vision, do you think that you would have left tech?
No. I don't think that I would have left tech if I didn't have a vision or didn't have an internal purpose that was driving me.
And going back is certainly tempting.
For me, I don't think that I would go back unless the sort of structure and the roles that I would want to have kind of came into Google. So who knows? If Google and I meet again, I won't be mad about it.
After a 6-month hiatus, Arsentieva got another tech job, this time as a software engineering manager at a company that helps match customers with car and health insurance.
Do you feel like you are less burnt out from this job?
Honestly, no. I want to give the best I can, so I put a lot of hours. But it's never asked of me. Actually, in reality, my manager told me I should stop working so many hours and take it easy, and because they want me for the long run, not for me to get burned out again.
But stress and its impact on mental and physical well-being isn't unique to the tech industry. A 2021 survey of 1,500 workers from different industry sectors found that 52% of the respondents are experiencing burnout. Still, the restrictions of the past year have given a lot of young tech workers the time to think.
I think it's really hard to make this transition into a role where if there aren't the perks and the money is very different. But I think now now that they've been away from it for a year, that it's an easier transition.
For those in tech wondering if they should quit their jobs, Jack says it might be worth the risk.
If you're someone in tech, then you have skills that are just intrinsically valuable. You can always get back and do it again.
I really enjoyed that. Let me talk for a couple seconds on that. So I'm a firm believer in the times changing. Hey, what's up, Zanita67? All right, this would be something good for a young person who is just geared up on making money. I really have one in mind that would benefit from what these people are saying. Yes, I agree with that. Not necessarily just about pitching it to the person, but just in the aspect of you getting out there, you getting good skills. One thing that's really overlooked is how you using your mind. And as you seeing right now in this right here, yeah, sure they have skills, but those are the same skills that a lot of other people in their field have, like their peers have. But what it is like the guy said, he didn't expect that to be working at Uber. It just seemed like it was this elite job meant for elite people. So but once you get that training and you use your mind, you become something else. It's like you become you were trying to be something, and then once you start using your mind, you become it. So what I do want to say is that they're not making titanium clothes that can't be shot through with bullets. They just using their mind. That's it. And I think that's very important. Very, 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 very. I think that's the most important thing. But anyway, y'all ain't hearing me. All right, Gen Z. Let's see what Gen Z tech looking like.
Have you ever tried to visit a website only to have like 90% of it taken up by ads? Pi.org is a web browser extension.
Are going to be surprised or not like to hear that you're actually right. Salesforce did a study that found that only 32% of the Gen Z workforce feels like they know how to use their technology within their jobs, which tells me two things. One, we're not doing what we need to be doing to build digital literacy at a younger age, preparing our workforce to go out and use the tools that they have
That is
available.
bad.
And number two, we underestimate the skill sets that the tail end of Gen X and millennials got from growing up alongside technology. For Gen Z, technology has just simply always existed. They weren't developing new skills and learning new things right alongside with new technology as it became available. They weren't learning the basic foundations of coding from building MySpace or playing Neopets. Sure, they had
That's true, bro. Like, yeah, MySpace turned like 13-year-old girls into coders.
Right. You right about that,
access to technology much earlier in life than most of us did. Everything was available at the tap of a
Angel
button.
Fire, yeah, that's another one, right?
Points have been removed from how they interact with most technology. And of course, we could argue that the business world needs to update the way that they're using technology, which of course I agree with. But that doesn't change the fact
Why would the business world need to update so you can't have coding or Microsoft Office anymore because some stupid kid can't use it? Oh yeah, that's the business's problem. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
that we've kind of created this perfect storm for Gen Z where everybody assumes because they grew up technology native that they should be able to step into technology tools within the workplace like this, and nobody has actually stopped to teach them how to interact with technology the same way that all the rest of us got. The last time
I never got taught how to do that. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is their fucking fault. Like, if you're dumb as fuck, if you're stupid.
I'm sorry, my mans. I got to back up off you, bruh.
Going to be surprised or not like to.
Alright. Gen Z is cooked. Alright, let's see what they talking about.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to bust a myth about students these days. It's the myth that Generation Z, it's that generation after the millennials, it's the myth that they're digital natives. That these kids somehow have these great computing skills directly wired into their synapses from birth. Here's the truth, though. For all of the time that these kids spend on technology, they're really not that great at computers. And it's strange, though, because there's this wildly popular digital native myth, right? These kids are glued to their gadgets 24/7. And all that social media and that gaming skill must be translating into great computer skills, right? But the truth is that as their devices become more simplified and in many ways sealed, our kids are becoming further and further disconnected from understanding the art and the science of computing. Now, I've watched their skills disappear for the past several years, but it really struck me this past August when I was working with a group of incoming 7th graders, digital natives who were having trouble figuring out how to take a file and save it into their home directory. Some of them had no concept of what a file type was, and a few of them were having trouble with closing and opening windows. Now, unfortunately, these low technology skills are not just unique to my school district. The research is telling us that across the country, kids are losing their computer skills. And school board practices amplify this problem, as schools are purchasing tablets instead of computers and simultaneously cutting the budget for elective computer science and technology classes. We're left with a generation that is a tablet and screen tapping generation that is never learning to unlock the true power of technology. So I think we need to do better for our kids, and here's how we're changing that story at Penn Manor School District. We've launched a unique one-to-one laptop computer program. Every kid in grades 7 through 12 receives a laptop loaded with Linux and open source software exclusively. And our kids are trusted with root access on those laptops. That's 2,500 kids empowered with an unrestrained and unlocked full computing device. Now, these laptops are daily instructional companions in the classroom, but with that trust and that openness, we're finding their learning is exploding in ways we never expected. For example, when we first rolled out the program, our kids immediately took to figuring out how to get Spotify running and Netflix playing inside Linux. Now, 2 years ago, you know, this wasn't so easily done, right? It was the first time that many of our kids had to get down and gritty with the command line and figure out how to get Netflix working. There's no app install. They had to take a little expedition into a terminal for the first time. And we're seeing all kinds of little surprises. For example, kids experimenting with alternative desktop environments, which is really cool to see. But there's something else really cool that's happening that people didn't expect. We've had zero discipline issues with giving our kids root access. To support this entire project, we've created a unique help desk program. This is a high school course where 21 student apprentices are working side by side with my IT team and I. These kids are providing peer support for their fellow students. They're resolving tickets, they're writing documentation, they're getting out into classrooms and providing training. They're building excellent IT skills, but more importantly, they're learning how to build a community of tech support for their peers. And there's one other key factor in this program. We don't exclude students based on their rockstar technology skills. This course is open to every student, no matter their level of technical expertise. The course prerequisite for our help desk is curiosity. Now again, many of the digital natives are finding they can do this. And for many of them, it's the first time that they've ever thrown together a shell script or replaced a logic board. For some of them, it's the first time they ever held a soldering iron in their hand. And I think it's these first moments, these first learning moments that to me are so magical and so transformative for our kids. I love to watch when a student realizes for the first time that she can use technology to do her bidding, that she can control the technology, she can use it to rewire her universe. But I think there's a question that we need to wrestle with, and school boards and schools need to wrestle with, and it's very simple. And that question is, which side of the command line should our kids be on? Do we pre-wire the learning environments and ask our kids to learn inside a sandbox? Or do we embrace open and give our kids the skills to rewire and change the universe? Thank you.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Because they're gonna find them anyway, I feel, but that's a tough one. You do with it as you wish. All right, let's watch some fun. We done watched some tough. Let's watch some fun. Scooter for 30 years.
This is a self-launching lifeboat to save life at sea, and we are ready to test it. Come on. and we hope to make next time a little better.
Oh, better next time.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what they got going on that.
Ah, the 19th century, a time of corsets, monocles, and technology. But believe it or not, some of the greatest inventions in human history came from this period of top hats and questionable hygiene. In this video, we'll rank the top inventions of the 1900s and answer the burning question, how did these ancient gadgets shape your life today? So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of steam engines, telegraphs, and light bulbs. And yes, we'll rank them. Because who doesn't love a good ranking? What was life like before keyboards? Did people just write everything by hand? At number 5, we've got the typewriter. Invented in 1868 by Christopher Sholes, it was basically the world's first keyboard. Before this, if you wanted to write a letter or a novel, you had to actually the entire thing. Imagine writing an email with a quill. Yeah, no thanks. Sure, it wasn't as fast as texting, but it was revolutionary for the time. It let people churn out documents without cramping their hand, which was a deal back then. Why does it matter today? Well, every time you type on your computer, send an email, or hit reply all by mistake, you're using the descendant of Sholes' invention. So next time you type, give a little nod to the humble typewriter. How did people make clothes before the sewing machine? Was everything handmade? Coming in at number 4 is the sewing machine, invented by Isaac Singer in the 1850s. Before this, people had to sew everything by hand. Imagine stitching together an entire outfit, stitch by tiny stitch. Exhausting, right? The sewing machine automated this process, transforming the clothing industry, and making it possible for you to buy that fast fashion sweater you'll only wear once. Thanks to the sewing machine, clothes became cheaper, faster to produce, and less likely to make you cry from frustration. Progress. Why does this matter today? Let's just say without it, your wardrobe would be much smaller, and you'd probably have a lot more respect for people who can actually sew. What did people use before motors? Was it all just gears and pulleys? Number 3 is the electric motor, invented by Michael Faraday in 1821. Before this, machines were powered by steam, water, or literally. With the electric motor, you could power machinery with electricity, which was both more efficient and much less likely to explode in your face. Faraday's motor didn't just help machines go brrrr, it revolutionized industry, paving the way for everything from factory automation to that little fan you keep on your desk at work. Why does this matter today? Without the electric motor, your car, washing machine, and even your blender wouldn't exist.
All right.
So next time you blend a smoothie, remember to thank Faraday for making your life a little easier and a lot less explosive. The telephone. When people actually talked to each other, how did people communicate before the telephone? Was it all just yelling across fields? Sliding into the number 2 spot is the telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Before this, if you wanted to talk to someone far away, you either had to send a letter, wait days for a response, or shout loudly. Bell's invention allowed people to communicate instantly, without needing to leave their homes or scream across the village. Yes, there was a time when people on the phone, shocking, right? But without Bell's invention, we wouldn't have smartphones, FaceTime, or spam calls about your car's extended warranty. Why does this matter today? The telephone paved the way for all modern communication. So next time you send a text, make a call, or dodge a telemarketer, you have Bell to thank. The electric light bulb, let there be light. Did people really use candles for everything before the light bulb? And claiming the top spot, number 1, is the electric light bulb, invented by Thomas Edison in 1879. Before this, people relied on candles, oil lamps, or just. Edison's invention wasn't just about avoiding stubbed toes, it changed the way we live, work, and even sleep. Sure, there were other forms of light, but Edison's version was reliable, long-lasting, and best of all, didn't set your house on fire. Now you can stay up all night binge-watching shows thanks to Edison's sleepless nights in his lab. Why does this matter today? Without the light bulb, modern life as we know it wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have 24/7 cities, nightlife, or the joy of staring at a glowing screen for hours on end. So yeah, Edison pretty much shaped your entire life.
Okay.
Wrapping it up, how 19th century tech still impacts your life. So there you have it, our top 5 inventions of the 19th.
For the 99 and the 2000s.
Stop asking research questions to ChatGPT. Its answers are not reliable, and they are difficult to be fact-checked.
Have you ever thought about inventions so advanced they seem like magic? Many of these amazing creations were lost over time. Welcome to Horizon. Today we will explore lost inventions, incredible ideas from history that disappeared, leaving behind only clues of their brilliance. Our first story takes us to the bottom of Aegean Sea. In 1901, a mysterious device called Antikythera mechanism was found. Made by the ancient Greeks over 2000 years ago, it could predict events like eclipses. This was like a computer from ancient times, but how did such advanced knowledge get lost? And what else might they have invented? Just think about it. In 1938, a strange object called Baghdad battery was found in Iraq. It is a 2000-year-old jar with a copper cylinder and iron rod inside. Some think it might have been an ancient battery for producing electricity. But what was it really used for? That is still up for a debate. Fast forward to 20th century and we find ourselves in Tesla's laboratory. Tesla dreamed of world powered by wireless energy. His Wondercliff Tower was designed to transmit power across great distances without wires. But due to financial and political hurdles, the project was never completed. What would our world look like today if Tesla's vision had come to life? Ancient Indian texts like Vedas talk about Vimanas, flying machine that could travel through sky or even a space. While we haven't found a physical proof, the detailed description makes us wonder, were these just stories or did ancient people really know how to fly? From ancient computers to flying machines, these lost inventions show us how brilliant humans have always been. But they also remind us that knowledge can disappear. What other amazing ideas might still waiting to be rediscovered? Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Horizon. Tell us in the comments which lost invention do you wish we could bring back.
What 10 innovations that could change the
world? Agricultural drones. Farmers have begun to use agricultural drones adorned with cameras to improve the treatment of their crops. The drones allow farmers a unique perspective that previously used satellite imagery could not provide. They help to expose issues with irrigation treatment, soil variation, and distressed plants at a much lower cost than methods like crop imaging with a manned aircraft. The success of the drones is made possible by technological advances in GPS modules, digital radios, and small MEMS sensors. Together, these advances allow farmers to bring greater precision to their craft in order to reap greater rewards. Ultra-private smartphones. As concerns over personal privacy grow, particularly in terms of new technology, a Maryland-based company seeks to provide an alternative. Silent Circle encrypts clients' voice calls, text messages, and file attachments. Encryption prevents potential eavesdroppers from listening in on phone calls and protects metadata. Silent Circle has big plans for the future, including a secure smartphone called Blaphone. Blaphone will utilize encryption tools currently used by Silent Circle, as well as other software that will help secure data. Brain mapping. Neuroscientists have worked for decades to better understand how the brain functions. Recent advances in brain mapping technology have made that ambitious task easier. An international team of researchers at the Human Brain Project have created a three-dimensional atlas of the brain. While this is a huge advancement, scientists still aim to create a map that shows details at 1 or 2 micrometers, rather than 20. Neuromorphic chips. Many companies around the globe are working towards blurring the lines between biological systems and man-made creations. Qualcomm is making significant steps in developing artificial intelligence system with the use of neuromorphic chips. These chips blend neurology into traditional technologies like smartphone chips. Qualcomm is already testing chips in small robots that allow the machines to perform tasks that typically require a custom computer. The chips can process sensory data through sight and sound in order to respond in ways that are not explicitly programmed. For example,
you need a whole
the chips
towel?
could anticipate user needs. Genome editing. Researchers in China created a pair of monkeys with specific genetic mutations. The scientists used a new method of DNA engineering known as CRISPR. The ability to alter DNA at specific locations on chromosomes makes it easier to study diseases. Researchers at MIT have expressed interest in studying brain disorders like autism and Alzheimer's disease. CRISPR has the potential to aid researchers studying such ailments,
I heard of that.
allowing them to identify what genetic mutations actually cause the disorders. Microscale 3D printing. A group of researchers at Harvard
Y'all niggas
University,
be calling. I ain't
led by
passing it
Jennifer
to y'all.
Reyes,
Call
have
the
started
ball.
to
Call
develop
for the
new
ball.
3D printer inks.
Y'all be tapping X.
Mobile collaboration. The current infrastructure for collaborating in a professional environment can be counterproductive to getting work done. This problem is one that new apps like Quip aim to solve.
All right.
Five awesome gadgets that fit in the palm of your hand. This crazy small tripod is compact, spring-loaded, and rotates on a mini ball head. 4. The world's tiniest action camera. It's magnetic, waterproof, and weighs the same as a AA battery, and comes with a case that's a charger, Bluetooth controller, and tripod all in one. 3. This pocket-sized thermal camera pops right into your iPhone and allows you to see the temperature differences even through your walls. 2. This compact laser level cube, super portable, and includes a push pin for easy mounting. 1. A retractable 3-in-1 charging cable with iPhone, micro, and Type-C. It extends up to 4 feet long and retracts down for tangle-free portability. 5 awesome gadgets that
Great gadgets for every man. This 2.5-gallon jerry can store everything you need for a good evening. There are 2 kinds of sets for beer and whiskey lovers. This fidget spinner stands out with an extremely complex mechanism when you start spinning. The shells open up almost like a transformer, and that sound. This wall scanner with large 4-inch screen is easy to use. Moreover, those LEDs light up your working area along with some red lasers for precise positioning. Great gadgets for every man. This 2.5
Our phones used to be so cute. They were pink, red, covered in fashion logos with keyboards, antennas, ringtones, and simple camera qualities. So what happened? The base of this issue is no longer having a variety of cell phone companies. Certain phones were only compatible with certain companies. With the need to stay easily connected through SMS, the internet, mobilizing social media, camera phones, streaming music, we definitely needed the upgraded features of a cell phone, but the unique designs had to be sacrificed, and shortly after, durability left the room as well. And in my humble opinion, I think there's a little bourgeois sprinkled in as to why Apple is favored over Samsung in today's culture. I mean, we all know how it is with blue versus green text. Ultimately, older technology gives us a sense of nostalgia that reminds us of simpler times and self-expression using color. Do you remember your first cell phone? Drop it below in the comments, and thanks for watching. Our phones used to be so cute. They were pink, red, covered in fashion.
I did almost drop this TV, but I think I may have broke a world record. This is how we doing this one. If I'm not done in 25 minutes, it's free. So that means we gotta hurry up. You see, I was in a rush. I like to measure from the top of the TV to where the first screw goes in. We're gonna find 1, 2, and 3 studs. This mount is my favorite. It allows me to catch all 3 studs. Once we find the center of the wall, we're gonna put our first lag bolt in, followed by the one on the right, and then the one on the left. And then we're gonna put one on the bottom. Now we're gonna cut for our outlet. It's not a bad thing, but I hate when the wall is totally hollow back there. So when I send my fish tape up, I gotta use the magnets to grab the fish tape instead of just, sticking my hand in there. Well, the outlet was already pre-made. I went to another house and it was 12-2 wire instead of 14-2, so I already had this one made. So we just sent it down and tied everything. Y'all see, we only like 11 minutes in now. Pound check a wow. Typically, I don't live 85-inch TVs by myself, but Johnny couldn't make it, and the homeowner was like, "Oh, I'll help you lift it." I didn't know it was a woman. Not that I'm saying a woman can't lift it, you know what I'm saying? But I felt less of a man if I would have had this woman help me. So I was like, you know what, I'll risk it. I did almost drop this TV, but I think I may have broke a world record. This is how we doing this one. If I'm
15 best Amazon products for this month. This gadget lets you measure curved objects and it works up to 300 feet. This is a self-stirring glass that can mix your drinks automatically, and if you put dish soap in it, it basically cleans itself. These are rechargeable hand warmers that are magnetic, last up to 16 hours, and they can even charge your phone. This chair lets you sit in a few different ways to help your prostate, and it also makes working more fun. This gadget allows you to turn any AAA battery into a AA battery in case you run out. This is a handheld printer that lets you print custom text on any type of surface. This measuring cup has 19 different compartments, so you can use it for any recipe. This is a pizza slide that lets you easily grab pizza from the counter. This is a travel pillow that you can fill up with clothes so you have more storage when you go on vacation. This is a cable zipper that holds all of your cords together, and it turned my desk from this to this. This snack bowl fits perfectly on your Stanley cup and has 4 different compartments. These travel soap bottles are magnetic, and you can change the labels to match what's inside. This gadget has 14 compartments and attaches to your wall so it can dispense your pills all at once. If your cabinets look like this, get these mug stackers that hold 2 cups together and will double your storage space. 15 best Amazon products for this month. This gadget lets you measure curved objects and it works up to 300.
This paste hates being touched. By mixing together a specific set of fairly common chemicals, including household ammonia and hydrogen peroxide, you can create this black, sticky paste. Touching it after it dries results in an explosive reaction, and it must be handled with extreme care because this paste hates being touched.
This tiny gadget could change the way you see the world. It's called the iMicro Q3, and it's a brand new fingertip-sized microscope with a whopping 1,200 times magnification. It's pretty cool that it comes in basically a business card, so you could always keep it in your wallet, and then the lens just sticks to your phone's camera using a nano suction pad. So it's actually shockingly easy to take off, put back on, and be sure it's not going to fall. Now, I've tested plenty of microscopes before, but never close to 1,200 times, so let's try this leaf here. We need to make it as bright as possible when you're zooming in this much. Oh my goodness. This is another level. Let's try it with a flower. Wow, it is absolutely bonkers how close you need to get for this thing to focus. You wouldn't even think that this exists inside a flower. Oh, obviously. What about a phone screen? Wow. You can see the entire matrix of pixels. Okay, this is a video of something sitting within this frame right now. Can you see what it is? 3, 2, 1. It's my trousers. This tiny gadget could change the way you see the world. It's called the iMicro Q3, and it's a brand new fingertip-sized microscope with a whopping 1,000...
If you got 99% of your money, you'd still be a multi-billionaire.
No. And
you have $138 billion, and I can do math.
Right. If you get rid of 99%, I'd have 1.3 billion.
I'm so sorry. If you got 99% of your money, you'd...
Why did you go through the red light?
I was being chased.
You were being chased by the police officer?
No, I was being chased by a blue Camry.
A blue Camry? Did you know who was in the blue Camry?
Not at all.
You had no idea?
No.
For how long a period of time were you being chased?
From off the highway.
From off 95?
Yeah, off exit 19. He cut from the fast lane all the way to exit 19. Like, he cut all traffic, got behind the light, almost hit me at the first light.
I don't know why they switched me off of tech.
To the next one. He was following me. He broke just because he seen a flash, and then after that, he takes off after me again to the next stop sign where he almost hits a car after I make the left.
Okay, we have a video of it. Let's take a look at it. There's your car.
Then he stops because he sees a flash. If you see he's about to take off again, he follows me to the next stop sign, and after I make the left, he almost hits a car trying to follow me some more.
You were satisfied with the explanation?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the recommendation of the city solicitor and patrolman Kessler, I will accept their recommendation that the red light be dismissed. Why did you go through the red light?
I was being chased.
You were being chased by the police officer?
No, I was being chased by a blue Camry.
3 gadgets that any man will be delighted with. If you're tired of ordinary fidget toys, there's a chance these magnetic rings suit you better. The set includes 3 rings that allow a limitless variety of smooth and eye-catching tricks. This cool shaver easily fits your jeans pocket, yet it provides a quality close-to-skin shave and simply plugs into your power bank, smartphone, or tablet. This quick-release connector provides a seamless way to carry your keychain, EDC tools, and other accessories. The magnets are super strong and reliable, yet they keep your items easily detachable. 3 gadgets that any man will be delighted with.
Website Secure Boredom, Part 8.
If you search for this and click on the first link, you can make a simple drawing using these brushes on the left. We'll make a mountain. And then when you're done, click this arrow, and the AI will recreate your picture using a realistic drawing. We'll change this to some grass and go again. And there we go.
Website Secure Boredom, Part 8.
If you
Top 15 tech finds for this month. This gadget attaches to any vacuum and lets you see dog hair and dust on the floor. This is a tattoo printer which works on skin and clothing, and you can customize any design. This is an AI pot which tells you when your plant needs water, and it also has a ton of other features. This projector is the size of a soda can and can project a 100-inch screen anywhere you want. This is a torch nightlight which lets you go from one room to another when you don't want to turn on the light. This device is a portable clothes dryer that can hold 9 shirts at a time, and it only takes 20 minutes. This umbrella has a built-in fan and water pump, so you can stay cool in the hot sun. These are AI robotic shoes which let you walk over 2 times faster than normal. This is an AirPod case that looks like a Vaseline bottle, so no one will steal it. This broom has a built-in leaf blower which makes it easy to clean your backyard. This electric screwdriver has magnetic attachments for any type of screw, and it also has a built-in light. This robot cleans the entire surface of your pool and has a solar panel on top, so you never have to charge it. These are dust covers which protect your charging port from dirt getting inside. This is an anti-gravity humidifier that has a built-in clock. I'm not sure what it does, but it looks really cool. Top 15 tech finds for this month. This gadget attaches to any
5 illegal gadgets that will get you arrested. Number 5 are the police lights. And as cool as you think they might look on your custom family car, you're gonna have a hard time explaining that to the cops when they pull you over for imitating them. 4 is the pistol lighter, which actually is just a lighter, but the fact that it looks like a real gun means you're guaranteed to get into trouble. 3 is the 50,000 milliwatt handheld laser, which is actually so powerful that it's classified as a burning laser. Imagine if someone shone this in your eye. Oh. Then the stun gun phone case, which, while it has good intentions trying to protect you on the street, the fact that this simple case can deliver 7 times the pain that a normal stun gun can has understandably made it illegal in several US states and many countries. And number 1 gives you all the functionality of a power bank in a hand grenade. Have fun taking this through airport security. 5 illegal gadgets that will get 4 spy gadgets that can keep you undercover. Number 4 is the flashback jacket. Specifically designed glass nanospheres embedded in this jacket reflect and amplify the flash from their cameras, ruining the photo and maybe even temporarily blinding them. Number 3 are the ghost glasses, which thanks to a specialized film applied to them can bounce back the infrared rays and flash from their cameras, ruining the photo and maybe even temporarily blinding them. Number 3 are the ghost glasses, which thanks to a specialized film applied to them can bounce back the infrared rays used by facial recognition technology, confusing all security cameras in the area. 2 is the privacy screen protector, which unlike your standard screen protector that just saves you from scuffing and scratching your phone, also drastically restricts the viewing angle you can see your screen from. So unless someone is literally breathing down your neck, your phone is unreadable. Or alternatively, you could just go all in and buy the blank mask, which doesn't just obscure your face, but also removes 99.97% of impurities in the air. 4 spy gadgets that can keep you undercover.
What? I can't even watch this. That was cool.
In prison for 30 years for bank robbery. You ever seen the movie The Town?
I have not.
Well, that movie's about me. Watch the movie. Ben Affleck plays me in the movie.
Tell me what the movie's about.
All right, let me finish this game.
Ready
We
to
can watch
unlock
this.
Roblox digital gift cards? Start earning with Microsoft Rewards.
I've been reviewing gadgets for the last 12 years of my life. Over 1,000 videos, over 5,000 products, but these are the 10 that I actually use every single day of my life. Each one more essential than the last. And number 10 is my smart trash can, which sits permanently just outside our filming room. And I picked it because it is the most streamlined way to trash things. I can literally wave my hand over it and it will open. But even if you don't have a hand to spare, you can actually just say, open can. And you can dispose of it without even touching the bin. Pretend that fits. Not to mention the 2 separate compartments so I can recycle things easier, the anti-fingerprint, anti-germ finish, and the fact that it's built to hide the existing bin liners that you have in there, while also giving you a really quick way to top them up from the back. Really has been revolutionary. Now, if there's one thing I've learned by testing the thousands of gadgets I have, it's that while the coolest gadgets are the ones that can dramatically change the way you live your life, oftentimes the best gadgets are the ones that mean you don't have to. They fit into your existing life and just make the things that you already do either faster or richer. And maybe the best example of that is the Ember mug. This is a mug that I set up once when I first got it like 3 years ago. And from that point, every single cup of tea that I've had has been kept at my perfect, exact, ideal drinking temperature. And I realize that sounds excessively particular, but for me, this whole idea of a tasty hot drink is actually my incentive to start working and also to stay productive while working. And so a mug that can both keep the drink hot, make it more enjoyable to drink and therefore a better incentive, and also make the tea last longer, because you can't just down it, you've got to sip it, is actually really good for my productivity. And funnily enough, it actually makes me drink less caffeine too, because 1 cup takes me 1.5 hours to finish. So right now, the tea is at around 55 degrees Celsius. So let's see what temperature it's at the end of the video. Okay, this one is unexpectedly awesome. So about 2 years ago, I made the decision to start prioritizing my mouth care routine. So I got myself a water flosser, which clears the bits of food in between my teeth, and then upgraded my manual toothbrush to an electric toothbrush, which I recently just upgraded again to this toothbrush of the future. There's an LED color display on it for starters. It's there so you can cycle through the 7 different cleaning modes. You don't actually need 7 different cleaning modes, but I do use a combination of daily clean, tongue cleaning mode, which has actually made a big difference to making my breath just feel fresh all the time, and then whitening mode for a bit of a polish up every now and again. And then because the brush head both oscillates up and down and rotates, as well as being moved manually by your hand over your teeth, it really does leave you with that dentist clean feeling every time you brush your teeth. It's got an LED that makes sure that you're brushing with the right amount of pressure, which made me realize that I've actually been brushing too hard for about 27 years of my life. But what I think is the coolest thing is that it pairs via Bluetooth to its wireless charging stand, and when you start brushing, the stand will tell you which parts of your mouth you need to focus on and for how long. Now, obviously, this is pretty overkill. You don't actually need a toothbrush this advanced, but the way I see it is, we spend like 95% of our lives trying to juggle work, hobbies, social life, family time, but if you're not healthy, you can't enjoy any of those things. So if there is a gadget that allows you to spend the same amount of your time doing something, but just be healthier because of it, then it definitely makes sense to at least invest somewhat in that. Now, ever since I made that video on gadgets that think different, and I covered the Balmuda toaster, this thing has had a permanent place in my kitchen, my heart. Matter of fact, ever since I first locked lips with a piece of wholemeal goodness from this machine, which basically uses water to give your bread a steam bath, making it crispy on the outside yet fluffy on the inside, I have not used a normal toaster once. Really funny, actually. Every single person who comes around here says to me, Aaron, there's no way to make toast better. Toast is just toast. And then I feed it to them, slowly watching as their expression turns from complacency to confusion to a wide grin as they start to realize how wrong they were. Really expensive machine, and it can only do 2 slices of bread at any one time. But if you value the end result more than anything else, I can't recommend it more. But even higher on my tier list is the Roborock S7 vacuum cleaner. I featured it in a sponsor video about 1.5 years ago, but it is so legitimately useful that I still have the thing scheduled to clean at 11:30 p.m. every single day. It vacuums the entire open plan ground floor using laser-based navigation, automatically sucking harder when it's over thicker carpets, and then returning to its base by itself when it's done, emptying all of its goodness into this canister right here. You'll realize over a longer period of time using it that there are some obstacles that it just doesn't like this rug over here is just just a little bit too high for it to climb reliably. But then all you need to do is to go into the app and just set it as a no-go zone. And it will just do everything else. But it still literally halves the total amount of time we spend vacuuming in this house. 90% of it is your fault, isn't it? So, at number 5 then, we've got my earphones of choice. I do prefer to use built-in laptop speakers when I'm listening back to our own videos, because that tends to be more representative of how they're going to sound to you. But then when I do end up watching some friends on the go or listening to some music, the earphones that I reach for are the AirPods Pro 2. And I would say it's about 50% a convenience thing. Like when you use other Apple products, AirPods are just... they're so thoughtless. Like, you have access to Siri, so instead of taking your phone out your pocket, you can just ask your earphones to go to the next song. And if you ever leave them behind somewhere, then just like an AirTag, they will tend to literally appear on a map on your iPhone so you can walk yourself back to them. So they're incredibly convenient. But if that's all it was, and the sound quality itself was mediocre, I care enough about sound quality that I would have just ditched these for a pair of Sonys. But the new AirPods, even Apple integration aside, are really, really capable. Apple's been playing catch-up when it comes to sound quality for almost their entire existence. There hasn't been a pair of Apple earphones that have sounded good for the price until this one. The best way to describe it is rich and full-bodied audio. And the thing that tops it off for me is how the noise cancellation has also become more intelligent. It gently fades in as you put the earphones in your ears, and it's powerful enough that it doesn't just get rid of the gentle whirring of, say, your vacuum cleaner, but even like the intense screeching of the London Underground. For anyone who's ever ridden the Central Line, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, ever since I upped my exercise intensity for that fitness transformation last year, I pretty much always seem to have some sort of muscle ache. In the process of trying to relieve that muscle ache, I've tried a lot of massages, and the TheraFace is currently my #1, and a sub to the channel would be very nice. So you can use this on other areas, but it's primarily designed as a face massager. And there's a few reasons why it's become a staple in my life. What tends to make me reach for it in the first place is just the simple fact that it's really, really relaxing. I don't realize how much tension I have accruing in my forehead until it gets beaten out of me with one of these. If I turn it on now, you can also hear that it's quiet enough that you can also use it while you're watching a movie with other people. And then the cherry on top is that it's also just a feel-good factor. This thing is like an 8-in-1 face treatment. Like, the massage brings blood to your face and therefore reduces the appearance of lines. It uses microcurrents to increase the muscle tone of your face, different types of LED to clear acne and reduce the bags under your eyes. The list goes on. Now, you might remember when I started my fitness transformation, one of the key tools that allowed me to make sure I was getting enough water was the Air Up bottle, which uses these scented capsules on top to trick your brain into thinking that you're drinking flavored water when you're not. Well, since then, I have upgraded to the Air Up Steel, which uses the same interchangeable flavor system, but is also just a really premium bottle, which keeps your cold drinks cold, doesn't discolor over time, and doesn't at all change the flavor of the water, which some plastics can. Now, how much you actually end up liking this product will vastly depend on the expectations you have going in. Because if you buy one of these expecting it will be able to turn water into juice just by using scent, you'll be sorely mistaken. It's more like it gives the water a noticeable scent and then a slight taste. But, I mean, that's enough for me to reach for my bottle way more than I otherwise would have. So, it's making a big difference to my life.
What amazing ideas do you have buzzing around in your head? Turn your ideas into reality with an Ash.
But, even more essential to my day-to-day life is my smartphone of choice. And there are actually 2 that I use right now. The main phone, which I carry everywhere and do all of my work-related things on, is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's not the most impressed I've ever been with an iPhone, in that the battery life is slightly weaker than last generation. The cameras pick up a lot of dust and they're kind of hard to clean, and I've ended up turning off the always-on display, which was one of the main new features that it launched with. But having an iPhone as my backbone is also super convenient because A, the key way that I talk to my girlfriend is via voice notes, and they just sound so much better than they do on Android. Oh, guess what? You won't believe it. The new Samsung phone is apparently going to come with a 200 megapixel camera. That is so exciting, right?
Sure.
B, both myself and a lot of the key people around me also use Apple products, so being able to FaceTime them has resulted in higher quality calls when we're trying to
coordinate the logistics of a holiday, for example. And being able to just airdrop them the photos from our latest gathering is a genuine time saving. And C, as I'm starting to make more and more personal videos on the channel, I find myself recording footage on my phone more than I ever used to. For the simple fact that your smartphone is the most convenient camera that you're always going to have with you. And so, for as long as the iPhone leads the pack when it comes to video, it's going to be really hard to switch away from that. I've got the Casetify bounce case around it, which is not exactly streamlined, but does give me extreme peace of mind that my phone is protected. And there is also a tiny little heart that my girlfriend has snuck in there for me. Welcome to my mushy romantic life. But then I also sometimes use the Google Pixel 7 Pro. Mostly really for photos, because I just find that it pumps out sharper, more cinematic images. And then of course the photo editing, because nothing beats the intelligence of Google's editing suite right now. So what about gadget number 1 then? What is the most essential piece of tech in my entire life? Well, it's this, the 16-inch MacBook with an M1 Max chip. This is the best laptop I've ever used for 2 reasons. One, that because this is using an Apple-made chip, which is based on the more efficient mobile phone processor architecture, the battery life in this literally lasts twice as long as any other laptop I've ever used before. Which means that I can spend the entire day traveling and still be productive just writing away my scripts on it. But then, because this chip is also really optimized for Apple's software, anytime I need to jump in and do a bit of editing or change up a music track for a video, this laptop also has the performance to be able to run our editing program, Final Cut Pro, as smooth as butter. Okay, so the Ember mug. It's been about 2 hours of filming. It started off at 55 degrees Celsius. It is now at 61. It's got hotter. To check out the next gadget video, that's here, and I'll catch you there.
All right, y'all. We about to get up out of here for the day in the next 30 minutes. I guess I'll spend a couple seconds talking to you, and then we'll go back into some more videos. What I do want to see, let's watch some more commercials from back in the day. Let's see some 80s commercials. See how many we can get of these without. There we go.
While you're getting ready, we're already on the move. We're investigating, getting answers. Live on the stories from...
Introducing York Extra.
Biting into a York Extra, I get the extra cool sensation of gale force winter winds whipping through my hair.
Get the York Extra Big, extra thick, extra rich chocolate, extra creamy mint.
The extra cool sensation of gale force winter winds whipping through my hair.
Get the York Extra Cool sensation.
There's more to John Hancock than life insurance.
You know, this home computer is one incredible tool.
But it's no substitute for personal financial advice.
You're right. And that's where the John Hancock companies come in. By providing a full range of financial services from stocks and bonds
to tax planning,
to IRAs. At John Hancock, they know a good financial plan starts with inside information.
John Hancock. We can help you here and now, not just hereafter.
Now back to Knight Rider.
Daddy, misses you, Daddy.
Sweet talking daddy's girl, how good you make me feel. Trucking down the interstate, shoulder to the wheel.
Rocky misses you too.
Your words will keep me company when I'm on my own. Daddy's on the move again, but daddy's close to home.
Guess who else misses you?
Reach out.
When you can call anywhere you want, anytime you want, that's reach out and touch someone. That's AT&T.
America's meat and potatoes, McDonald's Quarter Pounder and fries. You're gonna be ready for it.
No one plays harder than America.
That's right.
Meat and potato guys. Slam bam, building up an appetite for a quarter pounder, Coca-Cola and fries. A down-home taste from a down-home place.
McDonald's Quarter Pounder and fries. America's meat and potatoes. Dig in.
McDonald's and you.
You're going to ask your next television to do more, to play harder, and be more intelligent than ever before. More than ever, you'll need the Smart Set by Zenith. Only the Smart Set has seen its exclusive computer brain that senses uneven color wear in the picture tube and automatically compensates for rich, true color, no matter where in the picture tube, and automatically compensates for rich, true color, no matter what you ask of it. Get Advanced System 3, the Smart Set. Exclusively Zenith.
Now back to Knight Rider.
What's going on? David's coming over for my stroganoff. I'll make the noodles. Oh, thanks, but David likes rice. Then you better do it right. Use my Uncle Ben's. Rice is rice.
Look, this rice is sticky, but Uncle Ben's converted brand rice is different. Uncle Ben steams away surface starch, so it cooks up separate and fluffy.
Great stroganoff. And you used Uncle Ben's.
When only the best will do, say Uncle Ben's.
I decided to test Heinz ketchup myself to see why more folks choose it. And you know what happened? Heinz didn't run. Then I tasted Heinz, because to me that's proof. One taste, and I knew which ketchup I liked best.
Unbeatably thick, rich Heinz is America's 3-to-1 choice over any other single ketchup. Taste it for yourself.
No contest.
Heinz, America's favorite for thick, rich ketchup.
Now back to Knight Rider.
Next, another NBC movie premiere of the Academy Award-winning film that made America cry with joy.
You're my knight in shining armor.
Starring Katharine Hepburn, Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, and Dabney Coleman in the story of one family's last chance for love on Golden Pond. Next.
There's a party going on with Southern California's hottest hit music on 93 FM, KKHR.
Hit radio!
Charged with only the hottest hits, powered by only the hottest artists. Connect with LA's hit music authority, 93 FM, KKHR.
KKHR.
Driven by the hottest names in hit music. Power up, Hit Radio 93.
KKHR!
Jack in the Box takes the burger to new heights. The first Swiss and Bacon Burger Supreme. We combine melting cheese and crisp bacon on grilled rye bread for a whole new burger taste. This time we even topped ourselves.
Hey! Aren't you
Give
gonna
a little
compare
bit, a
to the
little
other
bit,
guys?
The Swiss never take sides.
New Swiss and Bacon Burger Supreme from Jack in the Box. There's no comparison.
The missing satellite found. This story at 11:15 tonight.
I, the real Daniel, like it because it gets rid of annoying pop-ups when I'm trying to unwind. And did I mention it's free? But I've been let down by so many ad blockers before. This one's different. Pi isn't just an ad blocker.
Now back to Knight Rider.
My dog's a real sea dog. He'll do anything to get the great taste of fish he loves. Some Sea Dog, huh? But I've got a real catch for him now. New Sea Dog. Sea Dog brand dog food from Purina has all the real fish flavor dogs love. Look, new Sea Dog has 2 delicious bites packed with the great taste of fish, plus a beefy flavored bite. Now he's really in luck. Sea Dog gives him all the fish taste he loves without getting wet. New Sea Dog, the taste your dog's been fishing for.
This is terrible. I can't sleep. It's like my nose is big, held closed. I can't breathe.
Try Dristan long-lasting nasal spray with oxymetazoline, the
Dristan with
oxymetazoline and pharmacists. Watch how Dristan goes to work immediately to open swollen nasal passages, so you can breathe freely all day or all night.
Tonight, I'm gonna sleep like a baby.
That's right.
Dristan long-lasting with the #1 nasal decongestant, or Dristan regular.
You get up.
Let's see some of the biggest tech flops real quick before we get up out of here. Oh, we seen that one. That one looked too long. Hey, the Virtual Boy.
Failed inventions. Nintendo Virtual Boy.
We had
Don't
one of
forget
these.
to subscribe.
It was
Have
the
you
bomb.
seen this product before? The Nintendo Virtual Boy, released in 1995, was a bold attempt at bringing virtual reality to gaming.
It was all
But did you
red.
know it became one of Nintendo's biggest flops? Why did it fail so spectacularly despite its innovative concept? Stick around to find out why this console, with its cutting-edge
whatever happened to
technology,
ours.
ended up being so uncomfortable and impractical that gamers abandoned it. What went wrong? And what was Nintendo thinking? If you have any ideas,
Tennis
share
was
them in the
good.
comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our fascinating stories about the...
This guy accidentally flew over a president's house, which caused...
Alright, I got a couple minutes for at least one unchecked video.
It's time for the main event. Wayfair's Black Friday Savings Spectacular is here. Right now, get up to 80% off furniture and cookware, holiday decor, and more at Wayfair's lowest prices of the year. Plus,
these products were dead on arrival. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 biggest tech product fails. For this list, we're looking at the most infamous and disastrous tech product flops in history. We'll be excluding the implosion of WeWork, which was more of a real estate service than a tech product. Although, yes, that was a disaster of truly epic proportions. Number 20, Juicero. When it launched back in 2016, the Juicero press promised to deliver, quote, the best juice ever.
Shut the door of the press. You will hear a lock after you close it.
Well, at least for anyone who could afford the $699 price tag. Yeah, you heard that right. $700 for a juicer. Then again, it was Wi-Fi connected. Yay. Investors, including Alphabet Inc., sank $120 million into the company. But slow sales led Juicero to reduce prices to $399, which is actually still really expensive. Then, in April 2017, a Bloomberg story revealed a surprising discovery. You could just squeeze the juice packs into a glass, without paying $400 to have a machine do it. Humans are lazy, but not that lazy, and Juicero shut down later the same year. Number 19. Samsung Galaxy Fold. In 2019, foldable phones were supposed to revolutionize
I got one of
mobile
them
devices.
now.
And maybe they still will, but the initial launch of the Samsung Galaxy Fold did not help argue the case.
Artfully encased in its refined, durable body, Fold's spine articulates with the strength and precision of luxury timepieces.
I got one of them now.
After the phone was unveiled in February 2019, people couldn't wait to get their hands on it. The first reviews were decidedly mixed, however. While praising the performance, reviewers criticized the device's overall fragility, in particular the plastic-coated screen and gaps that let in dust and water. CNET went so far as to describe the inside as, quote, toy-like. Not really what you want from a phone that cost $1,980.
Right.
Pre-orders were canceled and refunded, and Samsung has since made improvements, but don't expect the Galaxy Fold to, quote, reshape the future. Number 18. Juju.
I mean, it looks cool.
Even before this tablet's launch in 2010, developer Fusion Garage was under a cloud of negative press. The device was originally the brainchild of TechCrunch founder Michael Arrington, who called it the CrunchPad. But Fusion Garage decided to just cut him out of the deal, leading to a massive lawsuit. When Fusion Garage released the tablet anyway, the Juju was universally panned for its criminal lag, 5-hour battery life, and uncreative interface. Further criticized was its failure in portability, thanks to unwieldy dimension specs.
Its elongated form isn't great for portability either, and as far as tablets go, the Juju is pretty big.
As a result of poor sales and litigation, the Juju ultimately gave Fusion Garage their own short battery life when the company filed for bankruptcy a few years later. Number 17. Sinclair C5.
The Sinclair C5, £399.
Marketed as a one-person, quote, electrically assisted pedal bike, this now retro-looking tricycle takes the shape of a pod straight out of an 80s film's vision of the future.
A safe, reliable, pollution-free electric vehicle which can be driven on the road by anyone.
Designed with portability and space friendliness in mind, the Sinclair C5 was advertised as an alternative to cars and bikes.
That needs no license, no road tax, and you can drive whether you're 14 or 40.
However, in the end, the C5 was impractical for consumers due to its low speed range, shoddy weather endurance, and awkward control scheme. This led to poor reviews and even poorer sales, and finally a cease in production less than 7 months after its launch. It then notoriously became known as, quote, one of the great marketing bombs of post-war British industry. Ouch.
For wet weather, there are side panels in a range of colors, and a designer-styled weather cheater to keep you warm and dry.
Number 16, Palm Folio.
This is the beginning of a product family for us, and we can see it going in many directions.
Designed to be what would have been the market's first netbook device, Palm's simple, slick, and ultra-convenient laptop was a complete failure at launch. Announced in 2007, this Linux-based sub-notebook was built to serve as a companion for Palm Trio users, featuring the same email, organizer, and web browsing software the phones were noted for.
What we want to do is bring that large screen and full keyboard to the data that's on your smartphone.
A little over 3 months after its announcement, the Folio ceased further development following a multitude of negative reviews from critics and a drastic decline in the company's revenue in the face of the smartphone wars.
When we started this company in 1992, it was based on a very simple vision, that the future of personal computing would be mobile.
Meanwhile, in 2009, the Trio was replaced by the Palm Pre, which, despite initial promising sales, eventually led to Palm's acquisition by HP.
In the future, people can have these very powerful portable computers in their...
Hey everyone, interrupting your research with huge news.
About that.
Is it the new iPhone 16 Pro?
In their pocket.
Number 15, Orkut.
Now you can share almost any page with a single click using the Share on Orkut bookmarklet.
Named after its developer, this social networking site was founded on the same premise as every other one in existence: to stay in touch with family and friends. At one point, one of the most visited websites in America, Orkut appeared to be well on its way to replacing MySpace, which in the mid-2000s was a very big statement. However, as controversy began to stir around the site for its concerns with privacy, fake profiles, and hate group pages, the site dwindled in popularity, seeing a massive drop in active US users. This would lead the site to lose the battle with, well, every other social media platform, and eventually Orkut was totally shut down in 2014.
If you've never heard of Orkut, you're probably not alone. While the site did garner some success, the Economic Times reports a majority of the users were from Brazil and India.
Number 14, the Apple Pippin.
Apple is betting that the TV will be the preferred viewing device with a new approach to home computing called Pippin.
When you think of classic 90s gaming, Apple doesn't exactly spring to mind. The Pippin technology platform was licensed to Bondi Company Limited, which advertised its Bondi Pippin model as a gaming console. However, they sold less than 50,000 units, so it isn't that surprising. Depending on your point of view, the system was either an overpriced console or a cheap computer. Stateside, the system offered just 18 titles, but it did offer players the opportunity to connect to the internet, or as it was known at the time, the net. Unfortunately, very few people had an internet connection up to the demands of online gaming, making the Pippin a pretty useless purchase and underwhelming experience. Number 13, Betamax, also known as Beta.
Oh, what is that? This is the Sony Betamax.
Long before the DVD slayed Laserdisc and Blu-ray crushed HD DVD, there was the first home video format war: Betamax versus VHS.
You just select the channel you want, and with Trinitron, you get the best picture
I gotta
possible.
see this.
Introduced in the US 6 months after its release in Japan, Betamax involved a 6-inch wide video cassette that was much smaller and lighter than its VHS counterpart.
I gotta see this.
You just
there was the first home video format.
They both look up.
Betamax versus VHS.
You just select the channel you want, and with Trinitron, you get the best picture possible.
Introduced in the US 6 months after its release in Japan, Betamax involved a 6-inch wide video cassette that was much smaller and lighter than its VHS counterpart. Initially, it drew attention with the console's home recording capabilities.
With the Sony Betamax and the portable Sony videotape camera, you can do just that. You can record what you want when you want, and watch what you want when you want.
Still, despite Betamax's superior image quality and smoother console engineering, it was ultimately VHS that was crowned the victor by consumers, mainly for its superior playing speeds and longer running times.
It's the best family entertainment on television.
One more shot, Ma. Come on, smile.
Number 12, Google Plus.
You know, like in your head, you assign everyone these roles, and like you think, you know, like these are the people that matter and these don't, and then like once you like step back and get away from that, you realize, oh, these are the people that were actually there for me.
As the company's fourth
After this
attempt
one,
into
we
social
gonna hop up
networking,
off of this.
Google Plus was founded with a slightly different take on keeping in touch by allowing users to group friends, photos, and communities into circles. That said, it was basically Google Wave with a new name, new interface, and removed features in place of less than innovative new ones. In 2018, a massive security breach exposed private data from over 500,000 accounts on their website, leading Google to begin a multi-phase shutdown process. As of July 2020, all applications connected to Google Plus were replaced by a new Google product called Currents. Number 11, the Apple III.
Apple, the personal computer.
Complete failures are quite rare, but Apple found a way to do the improbable. Replacing the Apple II, the Apple III was meant to push the company into the business sector. Instead, this faulty device led to near financial ruin. Partially due to Steve Jobs' inflexible demands and instructions to not include a cooling fan, this device suffered from overheating and would break down after a couple of hours of use. This was particularly problematic since it was targeted towards businesses rather than hobbyists and enthusiasts.
Where the heck did that
Software
thing
for the
just
Apple
go?
III was also scarce, and the computer got dismissal reviews right out of the gate.
See?
Number 10, Amazon's Fire Phone.
With, the flick of your wrist, you can get an additional menu.
Following the astonishing success of their Kindle Fire ebook readers and Fire tablets, Amazon looked to further expand their Android-based Fire OS family by
Alright,
setting its
y'all.
eyes on the cell phone market. Announced as an
We're gonna get this last video in here, and I'm gonna get out of here for the day, up off y'all heads, and I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow. I think we never seen this one. Yeah, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow after this.
I'm about to spend $10,000 in the next 4 minutes buying the biggest, most giant tech that you've ever seen. Giant keyboard. That's amazing. This is the one. I've just got to figure out how to import it. Okay, so we're going to need a huge mouse to go with that. Huge mouse. Oh my god. Oh, okay. It's not a mouse. That's alarming. Anyway. Ooh. I think we might have our winner here. But now I've got to get a giant mouse mat too. I can feel myself falling into the hole. We have a mouse pad here which is claiming to be world's largest, extended, large, extra, extra, extra large. That will do the job. I'm starting to picture a setup coming together. What's the biggest monitor we can get? This could actually work. A Quad HD 49-inch curved Samsung panel. I think that's the one. What else do you use in a setup? Headphones. I need some giant headphones. Oh my god. Can you imagine if you could buy this and it was like a working pair of headphones? That's perfect. They've literally just taken AirPods Pro and supersized them. It actually looks really good. Maybe that's just a photo though. Oh no, that's even better. So this is a company who's literally created an actual stereo pair of speakers that are based on the design of a normal pair of earphones that they also sell. That is perfect for this video. Okay, so let's buy that and then also the pair of earphones that they're based on. I'm quite surprised with how this is coming together. I feel like I need some giant tools to like fit with my new giant lifestyle. Biggest tool. Is that Jeremy Clarkson? Oh god, this is so stupid. But I also really want one. It's not even a bad price. 21 quid for a 44-inch pencil. Giant lighter. What is that? Is that real? I don't think we can buy it, but that's probably for the best. That's still pretty cool. Maybe it's one of those things that you have to kind of like see it in person to appreciate how big it is. World's biggest light bulb. Yes, please. A giant microfiber cloth. That actually makes a lot of sense given the scale of the gadgets we're buying. No way! Did you know this? That's so cool! You can buy a 4.5 kilogram jumbo version of their normal chocolate bar. Toblerone want to.
Let's see what
I've never been.
got. Look how big that is.
A little bit naughty, that. I can have like 7 full windows open at once. And because it's such a big screen, the curve is actually useful because it wraps around you. Also, giant screen wipe to keep the entire thing clean. Quite possibly one stroke. I am quite enjoying living the large life. But wait a second. Right now, I'm powering all of this stuff off a tiny, human-sized MacBook. We need a PC that can keep up. Oh, that transition didn't work. This is going to blow your mind. Underneath this curtain is a all right now is that what I've never been this nervous to cut some absolute unit sound. Oh Wow. It's like earphones, but if they were speakers. Which is obvious, but it...
What you gonna do, brush your ass?
Believe it. I do actually have some disclosing tablets. So if I chew this thing, it will coat my teeth in purple. So in theory, I'll be able to see how well this cleans. Okay. Promise I clean my teeth. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, just give it an absolutely enormous glob. What do they normally say? Pea-sized amount.
I guess.
Ow. Carpet burn. I feel like I've just been attacked. Are my teeth clean? Okay, we are getting to the very largest now. So inside this box should be the largest light bulb on the internet. I've gone through like a 25-minute unboxing already just to get the other pieces out. Nearly broke my camera trying to film it, but the bulb itself is in here. Oh gosh.
Dang.
It's like a vase. Let's put this on the stand. Wait a second, where is the filament? Oh, you put a small bulb inside the bigger bulb. You know when people say they have like a light bulb moment? This feels like the opposite of that. Do you want to see the biggest thing of them all though? How about a 100-inch Nintendo Switch? So, I've had these Joy-Con controllers custom made and then mounted them on the biggest screen I own. I was actually thinking of turning them into working controllers that you could play with too, but then I realized you wouldn't actually be able to play anything if they're stuck 5 meters away from you. And what would actually be a massive lifesaver was if they were also cabinets. So, all that junk that's been sitting around is now gone. I love this so much. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering what the whole thing was running off, well of course, the world's largest power bank. Not because I needed to, just because it's crazy that...
Alright, y'all, well, we out of here for the day. Y'all can watch one of the previous episodes as I get up out of here. And we'll be back again tomorrow. Find Your Way Wednesdays. This has been episode 50 of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. And I'm up out of here. Peace. Let's go right into this. I'm actually doing my own listening and digesting of some stuff. So, the topic for today, you know, is Healthy Mental Thursday. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? If you're familiar with the song, what's on your mind? All right. So here we go. That's what's up. All right. I'll start here. Oh, they ain't got nothing good I can use. Yeah, they ain't got nothing good I can use. Alright.